I can have a little bit of chat to you guys and we can go through literally everything in detail. For example, some of you guys were asking, when we fixed the Bugatti, I repaired this wire here on the crash sensor, and some people were saying, oh, you should have used heat shrink. I did use heat shrink.
Matt Armstrong sent Bugatti a direct message, and Bugatti went silent.A, written-off car, an independent builder, and the world's most powerful automotive corporation. When Bugatti refused to sell parts, YouTube stepped in and recognized the man they tried to shut out. The car was split open, the exact procedure Bugatti's own CEO called impossible for an independent builder. Now the gearbox is exposed. The damage is visible. And Matt has only one response: see you soon, Bugatti. This is not just a rebuild, this is a direct challenge to a system that told him he didn't have the right. The full story is ahead, stay with us. The truth is about to be revealed. The message that started everything. Matt Armstrong has rebuilt a lot of cars. Flood-damaged supercars, written-off exotics, vehicles that most professional shops would turn away at the door without a second look. His channel has built its reputation on taking on jobs that everyone else considers finished, cars that insurance companies have already paid out on, cars that dealerships have already written off their books, cars that are supposed to be gone. But the Bugatti Chiron Per Sport was different from the moment it arrived. This was not just any hypercar. The Chiron Per Sport sits at the very top of what road car engineering can produce. It runs a quad-turbocharged W16 engine, 16 cylinders, for turbochargers, around 1,500 horsepower delivered through a drivetrain that took Bugatti years to develop.
The 1,500 horsepower 16-cylinder engine is the fastest in the world. Bugatti engineers had to cap the top speed at 261 miles an hour.
The 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox was engineered entirely in-house, designed specifically around the power and torque figures that no off-the-shelf unit could handle. The carbon fiber monocoque chassis is built to tolerances that most manufacturers in the world cannot match, even when they are trying to. Every system on this car was designed to work with every other system. The cooling, the aerodynamics, the suspension geometry, the electronics, none of it was designed to be serviced by anyone other than Bugatti. And almost none of the parts exist anywhere outside of Bugatti's own supply chain. When a normal car gets written off, a determined builder can usually source what they need. Other cars of the same model get parted out. Aftermarket suppliers fill in the gaps. The manufacturer might not help, but the market finds a way. With the Chiron, that path does not exist. There is no parting out a Chiron for spares. There is no aftermarket supplier producing W16 gearbox components. The parts either come from Bugatti or they do not come at all. So when Matt acquired the written-off Chiron, the question was never just whether the car could physically be put back together. Plenty of the visible damage was reparable in principle. The real question was whether Bugatti would cooperate, whether they would sell the parts needed to make a real rebuild possible. They would not. Bugatti's position came through clearly. No parts. No technical support, no cooperation of any kind. Their official stance was that rebuilding the car outside their authorized network was not safe, and that the procedures involved were beyond what any independent builder could handle responsibly. The message underneath the official language was fairly direct. This is our car, even now, and we are not going to help you bring it back. Mate Rimac, Bugatti's CEO, had added his own weight to that position. He had made public comments pointing to the car split, the procedure required to separate the front and rear sections of the monocoque to access the drivetrain.
And they have to split the car in half. You can't do that in a garage. There's just a few places in the world with the right equipment and only a few people in the world with the right training to be able to do that.
As something an independent builder simply could not execute without serious risk of permanent structural damage. It was not framed as a suggestion. It was framed as a fact about what was and was not possible. Matt heard all of it. Then he went ahead anyway. But first, he posted a message. Not angry, not emotional, not the kind of response that turns into a back and forth that distracts from the actual work. It was calm, measured, and almost businesslike in tone, the kind of statement someone makes when they have already made their decision and are simply putting it on record. He was careful about one thing specifically. He separated Mate Rimac, the individual, from Bugatti, the corporation. He said directly that if the decision had been Rimac's alone, parts would probably already be in transit. He placed the responsibility where he believed it actually sat, with corporate policy, not with any one person. That distinction mattered. It was fair, and it was strategic at the same time. And then he closed with one line. I've got no other choice but to try and get this car back on the road my own way. See you soon, Bugatti. That was not bravado. That was not a threat. It was a statement of intent from someone who had spent months understanding exactly what this project required and had already decided that none of it was going to stop him. The split that changed everything. Of all the challenges in this rebuild, the car split was the one that carried the most weight before it happened. The Chiron, like all modern Bugatti cars, is built around a carbon fiber monocoque that serves as both the structural foundation and the safety cell for the driver. To access the gearbox and rear drivetrain components, the car has to be separated at a specific structural joint, the front section lifted, and moved away from the rear.
And today, we've got a bit more to do on this Bugatti, which is clearly in half. We did the impossible. But now it's gonna get a lot harder because everything from now on is building the car and fixing it.
It sounds simple in theory. In practice, the Chiron's monocoque is not designed to be disassembled by anyone other than the factory. There are no official instructions for this procedure available outside of Bugatti's own internal documentation. The loads involved during separation have to be managed precisely. If anything goes wrong, if the car is lifted incorrectly, if the structural loads are distributed unevenly, if any of the attached systems are not properly disconnected, first, the damage could be permanent and catastrophic. This is exactly what Bugatti's CEO pointed to when he suggested an independent builder could not do it. Matt did it. The car was successfully split without incident. Every step of the procedure was filmed. The process was methodical. The preparation was thorough. And when the two sections of the Chiron came apart cleanly, the single most powerful argument Bugatti had been using against this rebuild collapsed with them. The technical gatekeeping argument, the idea that Bugatti's cars are simply too complex for anyone without factory-level knowledge to work on, took its hardest hit at that exact moment. It was not reckless. It was not lucky. It was careful engineering applied by someone who had done the homework, worked with specialists, and understood the risks before touching anything. For the viewers watching the process unfold, it was one of those rare moments where the outcome was genuinely uncertain right up until it happened. For Matt, it opened the door to everything that comes next. The gearbox was now accessible. The damage could now be properly assessed.
So far on the Bugatti, the only thing that we've actually needed to repair is the gearbox bracket.
The rebuild had moved from preparation into something much more concrete, and Bugatti now had a very public answer to their CEO's statement. YouTube steps in. Right around the time Matt posted his message to Bugatti, something else arrived. YouTube sent him a recognition package. This is not the kind of thing that happens to every creator. YouTube does not send physical packages to people who are simply making content and hoping someone watches. This kind of recognition goes to channels that are doing something the platform considers genuinely valuable, creators with large, engaged audiences who are building something real. Matt unboxed it on camera. The package included a custom jacket with his channel name embroidered on the back and a note acknowledging his work as a creator. His dog Kevin, apparently aware that the moment called for maximum disruption, did his best to make the entire unboxing about himself. Matt was clearly delighted, and the timing was worth noting. At the exact moment Bugatti was refusing to cooperate, refusing to sell parts, and maintaining the position that this rebuild should not happen, YouTube was sending Matt a jacket. The contrast between those two responses, one corporate institution saying stop, another saying keep going, was not lost on the audience watching. The package itself was a small thing, a jacket, a note, but what it represented was something larger. YouTube was signaling that the content Matt was producing, transparent, technically detailed, honest about every setback, was exactly the kind of content the platform values. This was not a manufacturer-approved promotional video. There was no sponsored segment, no scripted reveal, no carefully managed narrative designed to make a brand look good. It was one person taking on a genuinely difficult problem in public, refusing to give up when a major corporation told him it was impossible, and documenting every single step. That is what draws audiences. And apparently, that is also what draws recognition packages from YouTube. For Matt's channel, the timing worked out perfectly. The Bugatti project had already driven substantial audience growth. The split video had pulled in viewership that reflected genuine public curiosity about whether it could actually be done. And now, With the car open and the rebuild moving into its next phase, the momentum was only building. Bugatti had hoped, perhaps, that refusing to sell parts would slow things down or stop the project entirely. Instead, the refusal became part of the story. Every obstacle became content. Every solved problem became proof that the rebuild was real. YouTube noticed. The audience noticed. And the rebuild continued. What is actually being fixed right now? With the car split and the gearbox exposed, the rebuild is now running on multiple tracks simultaneously. Several major work streams are moving forward in parallel, and the progress on each one tells its own story. The gearbox assessment. The gearbox has always been one of the biggest unknowns in this rebuild. The Chiron's 7-speed dual-clutch unit is not something you can simply order from a supplier. It was designed and built specifically for this car, and Bugatti does not sell replacement units through any independent channel. The split gave Matt full visual access to the gearbox for the first time. The damage is now visible and is being assessed by specialists. The key question is whether the internal damage is reparable or whether the unit needs to be replaced entirely. If repair is possible, the path forward is complex but manageable. If replacement is needed, it opens up a separate challenge around independent sourcing, finding a unit that can be adapted or fabricated to work in the Chiron's drivetrain. That assessment is still ongoing, and it will shape a significant portion of what comes next. The aluminum horseshoe.AT, the front of the Chiron, sits a complex aluminum structural component, the horseshoe that Bugatti produces as a precision casting. It is a load-bearing part that connects multiple systems and has to meet specific structural tolerances to function safely. The Matt's team is handling this through 3D scanning and CNC machining. The original part is being scanned in detail, and the plan is not simply to replicate Bugatti's design, but to potentially improve on it. Modern CNC machining is precise enough to produce structural aluminum components that meet.
CNC machining is a manufacturing process that removes material from metal or plastic stock to form a highly precise final shape of a product,
or exceed original specifications, provided the engineering work is done properly. This is one of the clearest examples of the broader approach at work. When manufacturer parts are not available, independent fabrication does not automatically mean inferior quality. The tools exist. The knowledge exists. The question is whether the work is done carefully enough. The radiators. The Chiron runs 4 radiators. All 4 were damaged in the incident that wrote off the car. When Matt first acquired it, the damage looked severe enough that a reasonable assessment might have been that the radiators were beyond repair. They were sent to Bob, a UK-based specialist in high-performance cooling systems. Bob assessed all 4 and confirmed that none of them are beyond repair. They are being fixed. They are coming back. That is not a minor detail. Bugatti's position implicitly held throughout their refusal to support the rebuild was that the damage to this car was so severe that it effectively could not be fixed without their direct involvement. The radiator assessment is a direct, documented contradiction of that position. The custom exhaust. The Chiron's exhaust system is another component that simply is not available for purchase through Bugatti's parts network. When you need a new one, you either get it from Bugatti or you do not get it at all. Or, apparently, you go to Valvetronic. Valvetronic is fabricating a custom exhaust system for the Chiron.
In the exhaust, it's also affecting the sound. But let me show you guys. You know what, the standard exhaust really ain't that bad. It still crackles.
The original system is one of the many components that was always going to require an independent solution, and that solution is now in production. Custom wheels, well designed for the Chiron, is also underway. The car's wheel specifications are unique, and standard aftermarket options do not fit without modification. Matt's team is using 3D scanning to map the Chiron's exact hub and brake system geometry, which will ensure that whatever wheels are produced fit correctly without compromising safety or performance. Every one of these work streams represents a component that Bugatti said, directly or indirectly, could not be sourced or repaired outside their network. Every single one has proven solvable through independent channels. Why this rebuild matters beyond one car. There is a much larger argument running underneath this rebuild, and it is worth understanding clearly. For decades, hypercar manufacturers have operated on a specific business model when it comes to repairs and rebuilds. The model depends on 2 things: technical complexity and parts exclusivity. The technical complexity argument says that cars like the Chiron are so advanced, so precisely engineered, so integrated in their systems, that only people with factory-level training and equipment can safely work on them. Independent builders lack the knowledge. They lack the tools. They lack the documentation. Therefore, manufacturer involvement is not just helpful, it is necessary. The parts exclusivity argument says that even if an independent builder had the knowledge and the tools, they could not get the parts. Certain components are not available through any channel other than the manufacturer. The horseshoe, the gearbox, the exhaust. Without those parts, the car simply cannot be rebuilt. Together, these two arguments create a situation where a written-off hypercar is effectively the manufacturer's property even after it has been totaled and sold. The owner cannot rebuild it without the manufacturer's cooperation. And if the manufacturer chooses not to cooperate, the car stays broken. Matt's rebuild is systematically taking apart both arguments. The technical complexity argument took its biggest hit when the car was successfully split. That was the single procedure most closely associated with manufacturer exclusivity. Bugatti's own CEO had pointed to it as evidence that independent builders could not handle this rebuild. When it was done correctly, carefully, and entirely on camera, the argument lost its most powerful example. The parts exclusivity argument is being challenged through every independent repair and fabrication solution. When the radiators come back from Bob fully repaired, that is one part's monopoly claim proven false. When the aluminum structure comes back from CNC machining, that is another. When the custom exhaust arrives from Valvetronic and fits correctly, that is another. When the custom wheels are fitted, that is another. Each solution creates a documented, publicly accessible precedent. Other builders can reference what Matt's team did. They can find the same specialists. They can use the same fabrication approaches. The information gap that manufacturer gatekeeping depended on does not survive a YouTube channel with millions of subscribers documenting everything in detail. That is the actual stakes of this rebuild. It is not just one Bugatti Chiron coming back from the dead. It is proof of concept that hypercar ownership does not have to mean permanent dependency on the manufacturer. That independent builders, given modern fabrication tools, specialist knowledge, and the determination to work through problems methodically, can take on cars that were supposedly off-limits. The implications go beyond Bugatti. Every manufacturer that uses technical complexity and parts exclusivity to maintain control over their cars' afterlives is watching this rebuild. Because if a written-off Bugatti Chiron can be brought back without a single part sold by Bugatti, the argument for manufacturer gatekeeping on other high-end cars becomes much harder to sustain. Bugatti's gatekeeping strategy depended on information asymmetry. The manufacturer knew how their cars were built. Independent builders did not. Matt's documentation is permanently closing that gap, not just for himself, but for every independent builder who comes after him. That is why the "see you soon" Bugatti line carries so much weight. Matt is not confident because he is ignoring the difficulty ahead. He is confident because he has already solved problems that were supposed to be unsolvable, and he has a clear, methodical process for everything that remains. The Bugatti Chiron per Sport is not done yet. The gearbox assessment is still pending. The aluminum horseshoe is still being machined. There is a long road between where this car sits now and the moment it runs again, but the pattern is already clear. Every problem Bugatti said could not be solved outside their network has found a solution. Every procedure they said was too complex has been completed. Every part they refused to sell has been fabricated or repaired independently. Matt is not rebuilding just a car. He is building a case one documented step at a time. The rebuild continues. And Bugatti is still watching. If this story has you as locked in as we are, drop a comment below, subscribe so you do not miss the next update, and hit that like button. This is just getting started.